One of our viewers left this message. I was wondering if you could show us your system for cleaning your brush while you're painting. I see you using the jar next to your palette, and you appear to be twisting your brush, maybe? What solvent do you use? Do you have anything other than solvent in the jar? Is the jar attached to your case? Well, let's answer some questions. Okay, the container I'm using is called a brush washer, oddly. This particular one is an Anderson brush washer, but there are other brands of brush washers on the market, and you can find them at the major art supply stores, maybe your local art supply store. So here's the way it works. Now, first of all, I'll show you the structure of the brush washer. This has this lid. The lid has these clamps, or the brush washer has these clamps on three sides here that locks it absolutely tight, so that with solvent inside of it, you can transport it to wherever you want to go without having to worry about it leaking. And of course the lid comes off. You can see there's a little rubber gasket here that helps to hold that lid secure. But here's the thing, one thing the viewer was asking. Well, let's back up just a moment and talk about what's in here. What's in there is refined mineral spirits. Now, my favorite brand of refined mineral spirits for washing brushes is Turpenoid, or odorless Turpenoid. It's simply a mineral spirits that has been refined, that's not going to do harm to your brushes, and you really don't smell it. There's another brand that people will often use. I reserve this brand for when I'm using washes. Now, you've heard me say, if you watched our videos, you've heard me say Turpenoid or Gamsol. This is the brand that, same thing, odorless mineral spirits, refined. Gamlin makes this one. I prefer, this one's a little bit more pricey, so I prefer using this one for when I'm doing washes, or when I'm doing things that are going to be underneath the painting. So for the actual scut work of brush washing, I use the Turpenoid. Now, that's what you see in here, nothing else, just Turpenoid. Oh, by the way, there is the Turpenoid turpentine substitute, which is the odorless mineral spirits. There's also a Turpenoid that is it's called a brush cleaner, but it comes in a different form. You don't want to use that, just this for what goes into the brush washer. Okay, the brush washer's construction, you see we have this little container, little cup that has holes in the bottom of it. You see those holes there. And the reason for those holes is to allow the pigment of the paint to drop to the bottom of the container itself. And that will happen with oil paint. It drops very quickly. The pigment very quickly separates into the brush, into the solvent. This is a solvent. So the pigment very quickly separates and drops to the bottom. Now, it has some other parts, but what you've seen me do, let me just do this very quickly here. I'll put some paint in the brush. Let's just put white in it because it's easier to see. All right, you'll see me do this. It's a little system I came up with sort of automatically. What I found is if I stick the brush into the brush washer and push it against the bottom, it will often pick up residue from paint that's already collected there in between those holes at the bottom. I found this works very well, and this is what the viewer was asking, to push it against the side. I don't know if you can see this right here, and just twist the brush, holding it against, pushing it very tightly against the side of the container, and just twist it. And what I found is that the paint will drop right out of the brush very quickly and allow me to go ahead and use it without a whole lot of extra effort. And of course, what's happening there is that pigment is now very quickly dropping to the bottom of the brush washer, so that when I finish a session, I can do the same thing again. Just go to the top of where the liquid is, twist my brush against the side of the brush washer. And so that at the end of a session, when I'm closing up to finish the day, when I come back the next day, I don't have to worry about the brush being brittle, because this, but by cleaning it with at the top of the solvent, all the paint just drops to the bottom. What remains at the top is clear enough so that it doesn't have any residue of paint left in the brush, so I don't have to worry about the brush being brittle. It keeps it nice and healthy. Now, the other question that the viewer asked about was this little gizmo right here. Or actually, I think the question was, does it hang to the side of your box and that sort of thing. Okay, here's what this gizmo is. It's called a paint handy hook, or painter handy hook. It's made by Gorilla. This one comes from Jerry's Art Aroma, and this particular style I prefer. You'll find some other handy hooks that have maybe a different little configuration right here. And it only costs about $7 for a hook like this. Now, the way I have it configured, I have Velcroed it to my brush washer, and then it holds the Velcro holds it nice and sturdy. And so then I just hook it right to my box, right there. Hook it right onto my box. And that's what you see. You see me working with it just hooked to the box like that. The other thing that I could do, I could just take the Velcro off. When I go out painting and take the Velcro off, I can put the lid on it, close it tight, or I can just leave that Velcro on there and not have to worry about reattaching it again. So that's what you actually see. So I'll just reattach it right here, like that. The other thing I wanted to mention, let me take this off just for a moment. The other thing I want to mention, there's a little bar right here. I don't know if you can see. This comes in all brush washes, a little bar right there. Now that little bar is made for allowing the brush, or allowing you to clean off extra liquid. So as you pull the brush out like this, you can just pull it against that little bar, and it causes that extra liquid to drop down into the brush holder itself. Alright, so I think I probably have explained that well enough. So the brush washers are available, or something identical to this. They're available in two sizes, small, such as I have here, and then a larger version that you can use in, or that I use in my main studio. And I don't know exactly what the prices are. The price range vary according to wherever you're shopping. Jerry's Art Aroma is a good place. Cheap Joe's Art Stuff is another good place, and Blick Art Materials. I think all three of those have the brush washer. Okay, I hope that answers your questions about the brush washer, about what you see me doing here when I'm in the process of doing a demonstration. The important thing is that you keep your brush clean and take really good care of it so that it does the job for you that needs to be done. Be sure and view all of our quick tips. And while you're doing so, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell so you'll always get a notice when we produce a new quick tip, which is every week. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments section and we'll make a quick tip for you. Also, take a trip over to DianeMize.com where I have full-length lessons, downloads, DVDs, lots of other stuff there, some free stuff for you. And while you're there, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and that way you'll always be informed every time we do something new.